Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. I am, of course, your humble host, Dave Smith, Pretty Boy, Smitty, Protocol, Paul, Pearl Game, Ultra, Smith Dog Trill, the Rant God, Hotep Thanos, all of the above on that ISET test and that ACT. You know what it is. And ladies and gentlemen, we are here for another recap of the challenge. I believe this was the 7th episode, ladies and gentlemen. This rant has been entitled Smoke Turkey. Why am I calling it Smoke Turkey? Because my brother Turbo was finna bring that smoke to that jive turkey known as Jordan, ladies and gentlemen. We gonna get into this deep, ladies and gentlemen. I have taken so many notes. Now, last time, I think I gave y'all 4 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 8 this time. So many, I kept it on the notebook this time. I ain't even rip it, coach. I ain't even rip it. Please, ladies and gentlemen, do not forget to like the video as you watch, and please don't forget to share it after you're done watching. But other than that, sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself, because we're going to talk all that hot shit tonight. All right, first things first, okay? This was a great episode. I'm expecting Turbo to get disqualified tonight. He didn't get disqualified tonight. That's a W in itself, ladies and gentlemen, okay? That was a W in itself. But man, oh man, oh man, I would be remiss not to mention what was happening on social media leading up to this episode to provide the necessary context as to why we all assumed he was getting disqualified this episode. Now, if you don't know, Turbo went on social media and he shared a tweet exposing Jordan as a racist. Jordan, I guess, got into some argument with Naya back in the day. And this is before my time. This is before I even watched the challenge, ladies and gentlemen. Let me be honest and transparent with you there. But understand, ladies and gentlemen, to my knowledge, Naya said Jordan had a small penis. And in turn, his only reaction to her questioning his manhood was to imitate her by making monkey noises. Now, why am I saying all of this? Because I want y'all to understand the character of Jordan is a dickhead. He's a dickhead. He does not deserve your respect. He does not deserve your sympathy. Now, production would love for you to like him because he's a mainstay. He's been on several seasons. He's won several seasons. So it's really easy for people to kind of give him a pass for a lot of his behavioral issues. My bad, ladies and gentlemen. I'm bringing way too much smoke to that man's door, and they trying to lag me out, coach. Hold on, let me exit out of this on my laptop. Maybe that's taking up a lot of internet speed. I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, I need y'all to understand something. This man has a history of being quite racist towards Naya. So me, I'm looking at this from a 360 view and going, Leroy, how could you possibly have a pregame alliance with this guy knowing what he's done to a black person in the past? Now, I know Leroy and Naya didn't get along very well, but at the end of the day, you got to stand for something. You shouldn't be aligned with this guy. And Nani, you're also a minority. You're aligned to this guy, right? Now, I'm only mentioning all of this because Turbo brought the smoke to this dude's front door. And my problem with Jordan is he has all this energy, all this animosity towards women within the game. But when a man steps to him, he lets his woman fight his battles for him. And see, that's beta male energy. And honestly, that's small dick energy, meaning Naya was right to question his manhood, meaning he was only triggered that much because what she was saying about him was truthful. Okay, all of this is important because he wouldn't have this type of anger towards people like Kara, towards people like Ninja, and you notice Zach, he's almost following in Jordan's footsteps. Oh, Jordan is going off on Ninja. I'll splash her now. Right? Both of them are acting like beta male cowards when they both won a season before, and they should know better. And see, that's where the majority of my frustration stems from, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, but I have to start off by mentioning this. At the end of the day, I'm just painting the picture of who Jordan is before we get into what happened in this episode. Now, after doing research, yes, I found out all of this stuff in between Jordan and Naya. So let's conveniently segue into tonight's episode, ladies and gentlemen. Wadobi. Now, Nani is still playing the victim card, acting like Leroy betrayed her last week. And she's talking to Turbo. She's trying to get Turbo to essentially replace Leroy as her number one. Okay? But I have reason to believe, and shout outs to one of my followers, my homeboy Johnny, he put me on game that one of the reasons why Turbo was so angry with Jordan stems from the fact that they may have, now this is rumors, but they may have found Laurel's notebook underneath her bed exposing the pregame alliance, which Turbo wasn't a part of. So a lot of people are beginning to speculate this is what made Turbo not like Jordan at all. And then, and see, that's only the tip of the iceberg, because really, Zach tonight went out of his way to try to make it seem as if Turbo doesn't understand the game. But Zach, he's the reigning defending champion. How do you win a season and not understand the game? Aren't you somehow sullying the prestige, or yeah, I think that's a good enough word. Aren't you sullying the prestige of the show you're constantly on by acting like anyone can win and not know how to play the game? Like, you played yourself there, Zach. What are you doing on this season then if you can win it without knowing how to play it? You're not making any sense, Zach. But that let me know he was butthurt and he was defending his boy Jordan. Okay? That was him going out of his way to defend Jordan. All right, but we're going to get into that in a second. But at the end of the day, I don't want y'all to lose sight of the fact that Turbo is a well-rounded player. That's why I mentioned what Zach said about him in Confessional. Turbo's a well-rounded player. Turbo was the only guy through Confessional that went out of his way to point out the fact that all of these people are running together simply to gauge and scout to see who can run in the final. Turbo's the only guy who would peep that and go, nah, I'm cool. And see, people who have truly followed Big Brother, you know, we tapped into the Dr. Will social game of, remember when he convinced the entire house to essentially not eat anything for like 2 days? Remember when Dr. Will did that? That was him just testing to see how much influence he had over the house. The same way Jordan has people running with him, he's testing his influence over the house. And for Turbo to be the one person that's not running, it explains why Jordan is hating on Turbo so much. Okay? I'm painting the picture. Turbo's the one guy who ain't a follower, so Jordan resents him for it. Right? Jordan says he's his daddy, but he's not the one doing what you want him to do. So he's the one guy that ain't one of your kids. If there's one person you can't say you're the daddy of, it's Turbo, coach. And see, my biggest problem with Jordan is the fact that this was the guy who went out of his way to go against Johnny Bananas in the proving ground once upon a time to prove himself. Now, all of a sudden, when him and Turbo are going at it, he don't want that same type of smoke no more. All of a sudden, he don't want to volunteer to go down there to face him. Why is that, Jordan? I think it's because not only do you fear Turbo, I think you're scared of losing in front of Tori. I think that's what it is. You're terrified of being embarrassed in front of your girl. All right? And see, you got to be terrified of being embarrassed in front of her to allow her to fight your battle for you and get in between both of you. That was you trying not to get rocked. You feel what I'm saying? Turbo gave him one touch. That man low-key stepped back a good 4 feet. You feel what I'm saying? Like, let's really talk about it. And for Jordan to go out of his way during this episode, and I gotta applaud production for being fair in the edit. I thought this was gonna be an anti-Turbo edit. Everyone's telling me he's going to get disqualified. I'm thinking they're going to try to, plant the seeds of Turbo being a little erratic, maybe a little emotional, but they were fair and down the middle. And to be honest, all of the negative things that Jordan said about Turbo in this episode, everyone else in the house was saying about Jordan. So it goes to show how tone deaf this guy is. Okay? What did I say in the last rant? I said people who do things wrong tend to project their flaws on others. That's exactly what Jordan did to Turbo. Everything that Jordan was doing wrong in his social game, he said Turbo's doing. Turbo's arrogant. Oh, he wants me to apologize. Don't you have to be the more arrogant person to be too prideful to apologize when you were in the wrong first? And you ain't apologizing to none of the women. Shit. If Tori wasn't scared about Turbo's clapback, she wouldn't even got you to apologize now, because she ain't getting you to apologize to the other girls because Tori don't fear the other girls. But she does fear Turbo because she knows her man can't handle Turbo. You see what I'm doing? I'm showing you. Your lady gonna only jump in the way when she know you can't handle it on your own square. Come on, man. We talking about it tonight. And I'm freestyling. I ain't even looking at the notes right now because I really don't need to. All right? But let's go to the notes for a split second because I do have something to say. So Nicole leaves and Georgia reverts back to who she's always been, ladies and gentlemen. Bear side piece. Okay? And in this episode, we were getting tons of mixed signals. We got Josh talking about, I know relationships and I really would like to be all over Georgia, but I can't because Bear is here. I can't wait for him to leave. If that's the case, why are you rooting for Bear to beat Josh tonight? You exposed yourself too tonight, Josh. You ain't in the women, coach. Dog, how many times can one person's confessional contradict their actions within the game? I swear Josh does it damn near every episode. And for people to say, oh, well, it made perfect sense for him to want Josh gone before Bear because Josh is by far a better player. He's more complete, Dave. But when have you ever known Josh to not be emotional as a player? You mean to tell me the one girl he's ever liked in his reality TV show history, besides Amanda, of course, but he was partners with her. That was kind of forced. But my point is, you mean to tell me the one time he isn't emotional, okay? It happens to be for strategic purposes, but you think I'm dumb enough to not believe that wasn't his pregame alliance's idea to hope Bear wins? Come on, man. Josh is a dependent player and he's a follower. He was rooting for Bear because he read the room. He saw Nani, he saw Jordan, he saw Tori, he saw Zach, he saw all these cats in his pregame alliance rooting for Bear to win. So he started, yeah, Bear, yeah. If you're competing for the same woman, you shouldn't want this guy in the house. You should want some action. You should want some vajayjay. But you don't want it, coach. You're not really into it, coach. Okay? And I think, low-key, he likes the fact Bear is there because it puts less pressure on him to close the deal with Georgia in the first place. Okay? And let's be real. The only reason why he's continuing this nonsense is because he's getting more TV time as a result of it. He wouldn't even be on this show. He'd be on the show, but he wouldn't be visible on the show if it wasn't for this storyline with Georgia. Because after Bananas and Laurel left, he has no connection really to any player that's controlling the game now that Paulie doesn't trust them. See, man, I'm talking that real stuff tonight, man. Listen, this is only what, my fourth week doing the challenge? Come on, man. Dog, this is earth-shattering. All right? So at the end of the day, Nicole leaves and Georgia, she becomes Bear's side piece again. And ladies and gentlemen, please do not forget to like the video. All right. Josh says he wants to be all over her, but he's giving her space to work stuff out. Josh is lying through his teeth to cope with being curved here. Why doesn't he go find a girl to kiss to make Georgia jealous? That was going through my mind. So you mean to tell me Georgia can use you to make Bear jealous, but it never goes into your head that you can make her jealous by kissing another girl? Why is that? If you really want her, shouldn't you want her to want you? Why are you fighting fire with fire? Why aren't you fighting for her? Instead, you're getting a facial while she's flirting with Bear over there. If that don't look moist, what doesn't, coach? Let's really talk about it tonight. Man was getting a facial watching the girl he claims to like flirt with another man. Come on, y'all. Let's really talk about it tonight, man. I mean, he has no game, so he can't get no other girl to kiss him to make her jealous. Everyone thought it was disgusting when he kissed the first woman, all right? And this is why Georgia should have never led him on by kissing him, because now he thinks he actually has a shot when he never did. But let's be real. He never really thought he had a shot because he never was really into her. This is all for TV time, like I've already exposed. Now, this edit was 100% pro-Turbo and anti-Jordan. I don't see what Tori sees in him. But most importantly, I want y'all to peep game how CT, Nani, and Cara Maria all have more of a relationship with Jordan based off prior seasons because they're all veterans, right? But they all prefer Turbo over Jordan. Did you all notice that? All of them admitted to preferring Turbo over Jordan. And the funniest thing about it is Nani is in a pregame alliance with Jordan and still prefers Turbo. And Nani is the one that's mad at Leroy for not being loyal to her when Jordan is more loyal to Tori than her. So it does make some sense here. Nani is looking for someone to replace Bananas. Leroy like, nah, I'm cool, B. You straight. You feel it, dig me? Leroy hit her with that. So she said, all right, I'm going to move on over to Turbo. You feel it, dig me? So she's going through the line trying to get her numbers in line, but see, Turbo don't get along with Jordan. So once again, Nani is being selfish, trying to make sure Turbo plays her game. Oh, you need to make up with him because I made a pregame alliance with him and I want to be able to work with both of you. It's like, Nani, if you don't get your playing both sides ass up out of here, you feel it, dig me? Like, she's just full of it, coach. She's just full of it. Now, like I mentioned, Turbo does not get enough credit for his social game. CT basically admitted through confessional, and CT don't admit this a lot. CT is a very prideful person. CT is a very great social player. For him to go out of his way to admit that Turbo is essentially playing the same game, but on Team USA as he's playing on Team UK. Once again, that not only proves Zach is full of crap for acting like Turbo wasn't a good player and didn't know how to play the game. Not only does that expose Zach doesn't know what he's talking about, and it also proves that he was just defending Jordan. He wasn't thinking soundly in that situation. But it also proves that if you can gain the respect of CT, you're doing something right. Theo not even gaining CT's respect. But Turbo got it. That says a lot. That says a lot. If you know the game, you know if CT gives you a vote of approval, that means something. All right? Now, let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. Also, Turbo was the only person who noticed the people running and mentioned how they were scouting for competition in the final. I mentioned that already, but no one else mentioned that through confessional, meaning Turbo is noticing things other people don't think to notice. Once again, showing, didn't he win a season of Survivor? I believe he won a season of Survivor, correct? So it shows why he's won a season on another show. And Bear tonight, shout outs to him. I never would have thought he would have gave Josh that much of competition, especially in a physical competition such as that. He may have had a better chance against Rogan, but I think Rogan would have cleaned him out and really would have hurt him. To be honest, I think I'm sure people assume Josh is the faster runner, so Josh had an advantage, but Rogan probably would have destroyed the man's body by the end of that match. He probably would have dedicated 2 rounds just to wearing him out. Then he could have just jogged. You see what I'm saying? And even Bear's talking about, I need to put on 1 more stone before I come back. So he knows he need to go hit up the picograms if he want to win, coach. That's a UFC reference, coach. If any of y'all got that, y'all woke. But let's continue. Now, the challenge starts, and we're talking about the whole river run challenge. It sounded like a city in Skyrim. But anyway, so you feel what I'm saying. Actually, that is a city in Skyrim. I'm too good for my own good. But anyway, let's continue. So the challenge starts, and it takes tons of teamwork. They have to build a pyramid puzzle, essentially. They have to carry this puzzle across the river. They have to grab these relic statue heads, place it above the pyramid, and then they got to go across, and then they got to do it 1 more time. So essentially, you got to do it 2 times back and forth, right? Now, this was going well for Team US the whole time, right? It was going well. They basically washed Team UK. And honestly, if Zach and Jordan wasn't so busy trying to ridicule and humiliate and criticize all the women so much, they probably would have won by a lot more, right? But I'm mentioning all of this to say Team US wins the competition, right? Team UK, they make their way to the beach, okay? They come over there. And Turbo, he's like, you know what? I'm just going to practice some kickboxing on these little relics. For whatever reason, Jordan takes it upon himself to tell Turbo what he can and cannot do with these relics. When are these relics going to ever be used again? The Legend of the Hidden Temple is no longer on Nickelodeon, coach. Like, what are you mad about, Jordan? You know what I'm saying? Like, Jordan is just a hater, bro. If anybody takes the shine away, he hates. He just hates. You know what I'm saying? Dude rocking a tie-dye shirt with holes in it, talking about y'all don't clean the house enough. My nigga, you need to change your shirt. You look like a bum right now. Who are you to criticize anybody? Shut your dumb ass up. You feel what I'm saying? I had to snap him back into reality. But at the end of the day, coach, let's really talk about it, man. So at the end of the day, Jordan is pissing off everyone because he was telling Kara and Ninja to shut the hell up. But by telling them to shut the fuck up, I want y'all to notice how he never talks to men the same way. And see, that's my problem with Jordan. If he kept that same energy with the men as he kept with the women, same with Zach. Zach don't keep that same energy with the men. The way he threw in Josh tonight was beta male behavior, right? Bro, we back at it, bro. They ain't going to be able to stop this hustle, coach. But anyway, like I was mentioning, at the end of the day, Jordan does not keep that same energy with the men like he keeps with the women. And that's why it was very important to see a man bring that smoke to him to see how Jordan would react. So, first off, why are you picking a fight with a guy who could kick a relic that well? He shaved some stone off that relic. I saw some of that relic get chipped off, okay? He was kicking the crap out of that thing with some free runs on, coach. Shout outs to Nike. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm looking at Jordan like, bro, this is the wrong one to pick a fight with. But I think Jordan, deep down in his heart of heart, like I mentioned previously, I think he was just mad that people were watching Turbo do that. And they were kind of like, oh, this is interesting. And the cameras were watching Turbo do it. But you notice, production didn't tell Turbo to stop. TJ Lavin didn't tell Turbo to stop. So Jordan, who are you to tell him to stop? This is why being a production pet, I can't stand production pets because they feel like they're the voice for production. Like they can talk down to everyone else and tell them how to fall in line. Same thing goes with the cleaning the house thing. That was almost like Jordan got some word from production that y'all need to clean up the house a little bit more. And he took it upon himself to talk to his girl about it. It's like, bro, how about you go and sweep something in? Oh, you're not going to do that? Okay, then stop complaining. Even your girlfriend said, I'm starting to remember why I didn't like him. You feel me? And Tori, why do you like this guy? He mistreats women in your face. You don't tell him to stop. But when a man gets in his face, you get in the way? Tori, something wrong with you. Are you using him for his money? I got to ask these questions because it feels very bizarre how all of a sudden Tori don't care. She don't care about none of this. And see, my thing is, if he can mistreat other women like this and not care, that's a poor reflection on y'all relationship because he obviously doesn't respect women enough. So why are you possibly marrying a guy who don't respect women? It don't look right. And that's why I'm getting tired of seeing all of these scenes with him as this romantic couple when he's mistreating all these other women in the game. We don't care about their relationship. I hate to break it to you, MTV. We don't care. We don't. We don't, coach. We really don't. Now, so at the end of the day, Team USA lost a little bit of focus, but they ended up winning this competition anyway. Turbo steps to Jordan. Jordan, right after ridiculing all of these women, all of a sudden Turbo steps to him. He don't really want the smoke. So Turbo is now steamed. He's pissed off now because he wasn't able to really G-check him the way he wanted to G-check him. So now Turbo's just walking it out, but Jordan is still talking all this stuff. So Turbo runs back up on him. And of course, Jordan is scared again. Oh, Miss Daddy, don't come near me. That's that Josh stuff. I feel like Josh is rubbing off on Jordan. Keep it all the way a bean with you. He's rubbing off on you. This is what happens when you play too close to Josh. Okay? You start to absorb some of his abnormalities. You feel it, dig me? You start to absorb it, coach. I'm just keeping it a buck tonight. But at the end of the day, I thought it was very beta male for him to allow his girl to fight the battle for him. I feel like it showed us who was the true alpha in that situation, and it definitely was Turbo. So let's continue. Now, Jordan proves Zach is part of their pregame alliance by saying the tribunal was in his favor, 2-1, with Zach and Tori being part of the 3 with Turbo. This was very key information because I've been telling y'all, I've been very suspicious of Zach based off how he's been mistreating Ninja, because the way he's been mistreating Ninja feels like he blames her for why Laurel is gone. Now it all adds up. The way he just was Jordan's little flunky all day tonight, it proved that he only chose Turbo because I think, truthfully, I think he chose Turbo because he's scared of Turbo too. I think that's what it was. Let's pick Turbo for the tribunal. Maybe he'll cool off if we pick him for the tribunal. And Turbo wanted to be the speaker, coach. Remember that. But they said, nah, but we'll give you this consolation prize, Turbo. That's cool, right? And see, Turbo, he don't fall for all of these politics. He don't care about that. He cares about respect first and foremost. So, yeah, he'll take that spot as one in the tribunal. But what was so funny to me is how when the tribunal happened, they thought they could convince him to vote in Rogan. And he said, no, I'm still picking Jordan. That had me rolling, bro. I was like, this dude is too real for TV, bro. I'm glad he already got a win under his belt now because he can just be who he wants to be. He ain't got to be hurting for the cash. I mean, he wasn't hurting to begin with because he was Survivor, but you get my point. Now, so Jordan essentially exposes the fact that Zach is part of the pregame alliance, okay? But I know Jordan is secretly pissing himself because he's in no rush to face Turbo in the proving ground. Jordan volunteered to face Bananas back in the day, but won't against Turbo. And like I mentioned previously, I think it also has to do with Tori being there. I think if Tori wasn't there, he would be more likely to actually try to prove himself. But because she is there, he's so worried about her game and his game, and he don't want to get embarrassed that it compounds on itself. So his fear kind of turns twofold, and he creates a total bitch, if I'm being honest with you. But that's my theory on that. Now, how can Georgia, of all people, criticize Rogan for not wanting to go into the proving ground? He's scared. He's crying. Newsflash, blackface Ulquiorra. Newsflash. You're the one who cried for someone who was quitting last week. All right? Like, let's really keep it a spade tonight. You wouldn't even cry for Bear, Grizzly Bear. You wouldn't, Teddy Bear. You wouldn't even cry for that dude tonight. but you keep pining over him every season. So maybe y'all do deserve each other because y'all both are just as toxic as each other. Like, real talk. Like, I deserve better than you, Bear. I deserve better. But you're rooting for him to beat Josh. And did y'all see the preview of the next episode? All of a sudden, Kara has a cult now. How the hell does Kara have a cult when her entire alliance is just a rebellion against the pregame alliance? That proves Georgia was always part of that pregame alliance. Because why wouldn't she view them as the real cult? Because they're all production's pets. So they're looking out for each other. Woo! See, man, listen. Thanos is here, coach. Thanos is here. You feel me? Nothing to fear. Thanos is here. Ready to bring balance back to the realm. You feel it, dig me? You feel it, dig me? All right? Let me get the collar right. All right? Because we finna get it in. Now, so like I said, she's a total hypocrite for criticizing Rogan there. You know, and then I got people that I mentioned saying, oh, she should want Rogan to be thrown in. Georgia's never scared to prove herself in the proving ground. That wasn't the point of my tweet. The point of my tweet was you were crying last week for no reason and embarrassed yourself. Now you're laughing at other people for crying. The same way you tried to guilt trip D into causing some friction between her and Rogan when you're in a toxic relationship with Bear. You're over here cuddling with Bear right before he goes into the proving ground, but you don't give him one tear when he leaves, but you give Nicole's punk ass a tear? Come on, man. You full of it, man. You full of it. Like, real talk. Now, so it gets to the tribunal phase, ladies and gentlemen. All right. And essentially, Rogan, he's basically trying to get the votes on his side, right? Now, the problem I got with Bear with this situation is Bear was the first person to give out his vote. See, for all future players of the challenge, for all viewers of the challenge, if there's ever a tribunal situation, I cannot stress this enough, as Dave Smith from Recency Bias Radio, do not, I repeat, do not be the first vote. Because if you're the first vote, you jump off the tempo from there. By Bear going out of his way to mention Rogan, Rogan decided to aim his crosshairs at him over Theo. And for Bear to be mad that he chose Bear, it's like, Bear, he was either going to choose you or Theo. And for Theo to not read between the line and go, he's only disappointed because he wanted me throwing in instead of him, shows how dumb Theo is. Okay? See, I'm really breaking this down, coach. You feel me? Theo is tone deaf. Kyle, tone deaf. Because Bear is basically saying, why me and not them? And Kyle, you didn't go into no proving ground this season, but you're going out of your way to say, oh, you've never been before, man. You got to go now. You got to go now. Well, Kyle, let's be real. The only reason why you're projecting so much is because your track record in the proving ground is terrible. You've only won one time. And even then it was a fluke. You feel what I'm saying? And I think that was against Bear, wasn't it? I think that was a fluke. I can't remember. I think he did knock out Bear, though. That was like his only win, right? And that was before Bear got more muscle, right? So that shows that victory didn't really hold much weight, but that's neither here nor there. But so essentially, ladies and gentlemen, Rogan essentially pleads with Idris because he knows he needs Idris. If he don't got Idris, he probably don't have CT. So he's like, come on, Idris, you know? Now, Kaylee and dang, I forgot the other girl's name. I forgot her name. They didn't really give her much time in this episode, unfortunately. That's pretty disappointing. But at the end of the day, all of the black people were on code, essentially, and they were waiting for Idris, okay? They were waiting for him to vote on their side. So Rogan is like, Idris, come on, man, have my back, bro. Like, we on the same side, we're out the bam. And Idris is low-key kind of waffling a bit. But if Idris eventually comes to the right mind and decides to have Rogan's back, ladies and gentlemen. So everything essentially falls on CT. CT becomes the swing vote now. So now that CT is the swing vote, he goes on this huge like diatribe and rant. You know, Radamontade. I'm giving y'all vocabs tonight. You feel it, dig me? He goes on this Radamontade about how, well, you're friends with him and you're friends with him. And how do I know if I choose your side with this vote that you'll have my back when it comes to the final later? Like, CT was really politicking. And it was funny because Zach is like, well, I've never seen CT this rattled before. But to be honest, I didn't really view it as CT was rattled. I viewed it as CT was playing hardball and he was trying to see who was going to crack first. And because all of them stayed on their 10 toes, So yeah, man, I don't know why this keep freezing, but at the end of the day, CT went with the right decision. He went with the team, the side that got him there. And what I find very interesting is CT is clearly working with Josh and Rogan very closely, right? But it seems like the pregame alliance of Team US is heavily against Josh and Rogan. So I think this is proof CT was not picked in Team US because he was never included in their alliance, but he may have some type of relationship with Nani that goes beyond her pregame alliance with Jordan and Tori. That's going to be something to pay very close attention to. But by him taking Josh and Rogan's side, by not voting in Rogan and voting in Bear, it shows that CT isn't 100% on the same side as all of those people on Team US. You feel it, dig me? Yeah, they're definitely hating. Yeah. Oh, man, bro. If he keeps buffering, man, understand it's because I'm spitting too much truth into the ethos, bro. That's okay, though. That's okay, though. Because as long as y'all get this ism, as long as y'all get this game, that's all that matters, bro. I don't care what frequency it's at. As long as y'all can hear me, bro. It don't even matter if y'all can see me at this point. Because Thanos is here. But so CT eventually picks Bear, which was wise for his game because he never flipped. After that, Bear side essentially begs Turbo to vote in Rogan. Turbo basically says, no, I'm going for Jordan. So then that leads to a rig scene, in my opinion. Now, look, I wasn't listening very carefully at the beginning of this episode. I didn't really hear TJ Lavin say, if you guys win this competition, the 3 people part of the tribunal get to take a nice scenic trip down a riverboat and they get to float along and talk game. I don't remember him saying that. Like this felt like some RU to 1 stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is this? Right? And it also felt like production wanted Turbo to go back on how he felt on Jordan. It felt like they forced him on that riverboat to get Tori and Zach to convince him to come to the dark side to be a production's pet again. It's almost as if Turbo got woke as hell, said, fuck being production's pet. I already won a season. I'm just going to be woke, coach. And they said, oh, wait. He's getting a little too irrational. We got to reel him back in. Let's put him on this riverboat. That's what it looked like, okay? It looked like they was legit trying to have an intervention with Turbo to get him to not whoop Jordan's ass. That's what it looked like. Say I'm wrong in the comments, but I think I'm right. I think y'all saw what I saw, okay? I have never seen that on the challenge. I've never seen that. Oh, we gonna put 3 people from the tribunal on a scenic boat trip? Like what? That felt like they were going out of their way to protect Jordan from getting some of that smoked turkey. All right, I'm just telling you what it is. I'm just telling you what it is. You feel it, dig me? Now, Zach ends up asking Turbo who he's voting for, and Turbo says Jordan still. What happened at the tribunal didn't change Turbo's mind at all. So the scene eventually cuts to everyone at the bar, of course, and Nani starts defending Jordan because Nani is only thinking about herself and wants to work with both Jordan and Turbo. She's just as selfish this week as she was with Leroy last week. She acts like everyone owes her to only look out for her best interests, which would be stupid of Turbo or anyone else to do. But of course, Nani is so entitled, working with Bananas for so long, she's just used to having her way because Bananas usually gets his way, right? But everyone ain't Bananas, coach. You feel it, dig me? Like, real talk. That's just not what it is. You feel me? Like, but anyway, let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. So, like I mentioned, this riverboat scene comes, all right? This felt like production trying to get Turbo to conform and be a good old production's pet by forgiving Jordan. All Turbo requires from Tori is that she goes up to Jordan and asks him to apologize to him, okay? I thought it was a very fair request. He wasn't talking out of body. He wasn't saying anything that didn't make any sense. And to be fair, Jordan did owe him the apology because Turbo was minding his own business. They already won the competition, and Jordan made it his personal goal just to tell Turbo what he can and cannot do. You feel me? Like, bro, if TJ ain't saying nothing, you need to shut up. So at the end of the day, I didn't mind that. I thought Jordan did owe him that apology. And for Tori to act like, oh, well, I think it's going to be really difficult to get Jordan to apologize. That's once again, Tori, you admitting that your man is a beta male. That's once again you admitting that your man lacks accountability. But then you allow him throughout this entire season to hold everyone else accountable when he doesn't hold himself accountable for none of the stuff he does. So y'all both are full of crap. That's just what it really is. Y'all both are full of crap. Now, If Jordan is this good person that Tori claims he is, why is she so apprehensive with getting him to apologize? That was the first thing going across my mind. Now, Jordan called out Turbo first. Her admitting this shows Jordan lacks accountability, which I just said, but wasn't Jordan the one holding everyone else the most accountable? Why is he enabled to display this behavior, but no one else is allowed to give him a dose of his own medicine? See, that's the question we need answered. What makes Jordan so special? I mean, Tori is full of crap, and this episode definitely showed Jordan's little dick energy. So Nia was right all along about him. Now, Tori asks Jordan to apologize, and Jordan says no because it will boost Turbo's ego. Then he calls Turbo arrogant. Isn't this the pot calling the kettle black? But who's more arrogant than a guy too proud to apologize? Everything Jordan says about Turbo, all right, then he calls him arrogant. But who's more arrogant than a guy too proud to apologize? Everything Jordan says about Turbo, the house thinks of him. How can a guy play all these seasons, win all these seasons, and be this tone deaf? How is that even possible? Because he's a production's pet with the pregame alliance, ladies and gentlemen. That's the only way someone can be this entitled. Laurel had this same stigma. Bruh. Now you get why they work together. Because they all have the same problems from a social standpoint. They all think they're too big for their britches. Now let's continue. Now, Team USA ends up blindsiding Joss by throwing him in instead of Rogan. Fantastic gameplay. Fantastic blindside. From an editing standpoint, y'all did a fantastic job of not telegraphing your move here. I, for a fact, thought Joss had no shot of going in. For Team USA to be able to pick out Joss as the one that needs to go first, I thought was very interesting. But I still think it was a missed play simply because Rogan is the one who links D to Joss. The same way Bananas linked who? Nani to Leroy. I felt like they made a mistake there. That would be like if Paulie got out Leroy over Bananas. You see what I'm saying? That wasn't the move. Technically, that wasn't a move. Now, from a surprising standpoint, from a gameplay standpoint, it was a good move, but I don't think it was the best possible move, especially when you saw the competition. So that's my thought on that. But it was still great gameplay, so I have to give credit where it is due. For the pregame alliance to come up with that move to blindside Josh. But now Josh knows y'all all ain't shit. You feel me? And now you can pretty much expect the alliance of Idris, Josh, Rogan, CT. Guess what? They're going to work with Paulie, Cara, Cam, Ashley. They're going to Ninja. They're going to work with them. And that's why D and Ninja are going to have an argument in the next episode because of how things are splitting down the middle. You can clearly see the pregame alliance, for whatever reason, is trying to protect all of Georgia's allies. Okay? But what doesn't make sense is that same pregame alliance went out of their way to target Theo earlier. So I'm not getting it. I'm really not getting it. It's very bizarre to me. It's very bizarre. But it just goes to show they don't really know what they're doing. They don't really know what they're doing. Everything they do is emotional because they lost the people who they thought was going to lead them to the promised land, Laurel and Bananas. But what I find very amazing is after West left, I'd argue everyone that was aligned to West got better in the game. After Bananas and Laurel left, I'd argue every single player aligned to them got worse. Seriously. If you take this Josh blindside away, they really have done nothing impressive since Bananas and Laurel have left the game. In fact, they've just been assholes and bullies. But let's continue. Now, I expected Turbo to get disqualified tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I got to be honest with you, but he didn't. Now I'm even more invested in his rivalry with Jordan moving forward. But the problem I have with this season, well, not this season, this episode, and y'all know I could not go without mentioning this. Why did they go out of their way to show Jordan apologize in a flashback scene during the Proving Grounds moment? What was that about, production? I'll tell y'all what I think that was about. I think they did not want to show us the entire scene because they wanted to protect Jordan's pride. I think Jordan did way more bootlicking than that. That's where I'm coming from. I think they didn't show us the whole scene. Even though, as an audience, we deserve the payoff to see Jordan eat some crow. We deserve that payoff based off how much of a dick he was to all those women during this episode alone, let alone the entire season. But let's be real. Production has been very kind to Jordan in the edit until this episode. So to be fair, we didn't see that much of him being a tool. We saw it with him towards Theo during trivia and stuff like that. But for the most part, he was kind of controlled with his fuckery. You see what I'm saying? But when you get to this episode, why did they go out of their way to make it a flashback? I've always been the guy. If you don't really follow me from a Big Brother Rant's perspective, ladies and gentlemen, I was one of the first people to point out how production systematically uses these flashback scenes to help the player they prefer whenever there's a fight. That's when they use these flashbacks. They rarely use it for someone that's not a production's pet. So for them to use it during this episode, when everything was building up towards the apology happening before they even went to the proving ground, shows they wanted us to see that apology in passing. They didn't want us to really take it all in. And that's why I think Jordan is going to win this season. That felt like them getting through with the apology, but making it as fast as humanly possible. Because as someone who's really into this show, I want to see how Jordan walked into that room. You mean to tell me Turbo's sitting on his bed? How did Jordan go about breaking the ice to... Y'all can keep trying to mess with this stream, but I'm going to keep my mind on what I'm about to say, coach. At the end of the day, that flashback made no sense because we want to see how Jordan walked in that room. We want to see how he broke the ice with Turbo. We want to see if Turbo was sitting on that bed, how did Jordan go up to his bed, sit on it with him, and apologize to him? We deserve to see that entire scene. Dare I say, we deserve to still see it extended on MTV.com or something, on YouTube. We deserve to see that entire scene because if Turbo is truly going to get disqualified, and we're led to believe it's still going to include Jordan in his disqualification, then at the end of the day, we deserve to see that apology and how it really was received. Because even though Turbo said he accepted it, Jordan didn't come off very sincere. Not at all. I mean, when Tori told him, I need you to apologize, I don't see why that would make any sense. It would just make him more arrogant and full of himself. I'm not going to do that. Then all of a sudden, then she tells him, well, if you apologize to him, it's better for my game too, babe. He even then wasn't really sold on the idea because he's full of himself. Okay? Like real talk, this dude is a cynic, right? So eventually through confessional, he says, oh, well, I guess I'll apologize to him for my baby. You know, something to give him a positive spin. But if you truly cared about her feelings, you would have just said, okay, immediately. You wouldn't have fought back on it. Further proving production is once again trying to put a positive spin on Jordan. See, I'm really breaking this down. Y'all can try to freeze me as much as y'all want to freeze me, coach. But I come back, bro. I'm Thanos. You need time travel to stop this rant. Like, let's really talk about it. So at the end of the day, that flashback scene was trash. We deserve more than that. The fans deserve more than that. Now, let's get through that. Now, Josh had a confessional stating how he wants to be all over Georgia. I already mentioned that. But at the end of the day, he should want Bear to leave. Now, if he truly felt this way and was heterosexual, especially coming off of the kiss that Georgia gave him, why is he rooting for Bear to beat Josh? It's because his storyline is about as fake as the showman's lifeguard Jesus had with the mustache mistress. Bang! You feeling dig me, coach? Hey, that was some fan service for all the people that's been riding with me for a minute. I had to give y'all something, coach. Now, Josh is always playing emotionally, okay? So the only way I see it making sense for him to root for Bear is if he once again is following orders from his pregame alliance. But even then, Josh has never checked his emotion before on Big Brother or The Challenge for anyone. He was the pots and pans guy. He was the, I'm gonna splash this in your face, Mark Jansen, because I can't fight you. He was that guy, right? So the only way he would do this is if he was never really into Georgia, but acted like he was for more TV time. Now, Bear puts up a great fight versus Josh, but loses 3-1. What I find very interesting is how Georgia didn't cry for him. I already mentioned that. I'm not going to get into that. But at the end of the day, Georgia, you ain't shit. I'm going to try my best not to rehash stuff, all right? I'm on page 8 at this point. I've been freestyling the majority of these notes, coach. You know, I go hard for y'all. Now, let's really get into some questions and let's talk about next week, because next week has been revealed as a double elimination episode. Now, here's my question. Do y'all think this is truly a double elimination, or do y'all think Turbo gets disqualified and someone gets sent home? Because that was going through my mind. Like, are they calling it a double elimination, but they'll never truly tell the house it's a double elimination because Turbo left? Like that was going through my mind. Now, most likely it's going to be a double elimination. So a girl and a guy, we're assuming is going to go home, essentially. So next week is going to be a very good episode. Last week was pretty dull with Nicole going home, but I got to admit, this episode brought the energy back up. So I'm glad this season is proving to not be a total waste. I feel like I started covering at the perfect time. I truly do. But yeah, so at the end of the day, I just want y'all to take this with you before I start answering questions. For Georgia, in that preview of next week's episode, to go out of her way to call Kara's alliance a cult, it is her indirectly admitting she is part of the pregame alliance. And it also shows Josh was rooting for Bear because the pregame alliance included Bear in it. So let's get into answering some questions, ladies and gentlemen. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Okay, Jay Griff says it's truly a double. I feel like they would have advertised a big DQ if it took place next week. Ghost Hunter asked the question. Shout outs to the mighty mods, by the way. Kiyuchi Ose, Rashoman. Okay, are you sure Jordan isn't gay and is just repressing the hell out of it? LOL. You know, I'm not going to put that on him. Okay, I'm not going to put that on him. But at the end of the day, Jordan, I feel like you could have went about everything you did in this episode much differently. I feel like you went out of your way to pick on Turbo simply because Turbo doesn't have anyone in this game, technically. Ninja doesn't have anyone in this game, technically, right? Now, Kara, she has Paulie, but at the end of the day, I don't even think Jordan wants them problems with Paulie. I don't. I really don't, right? I really don't. You feel me? I think Paulie is the exact body type of a guy that's like the exact height, but a little bit more stronger than him. I don't think he would want that smoke. Okay. And if Paulie is truly supposed to replace Bananas in the future, then and Bananas owned Jordan in the past, I'm sure Jordan doesn't want that to rig its head all over again. Okay. He don't want that smoke. All right. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to put that on Jordan. I'm not going to put that type of label on him, but I do think he's a beta male, and I think he exposed himself. He has a lot of insecurities. And I think Turbo is the one guy who's a man's man that ain't playing those political rules that the challenge is known for. And because he doesn't want to play the game that they want to play, that they want him to play, all of a sudden he's not a good player. But I think the mark of a great player is someone who can determine and decipher what you're trying to do. Essentially, a great player is someone who can figure out your genjutsu. They can figure out the mistake you're trying to get them to make, how you're trying to manipulate them strategically, and they can do the opposite of that. That way they can avoid your crosshairs entirely. Turbo was doing that. I think that was annoying Jordan, because the same way Jordan was getting people to run with him, he had to have also noticed Turbo wasn't participating in those runs. I think that was eating at him to know that there was someone who was too much of an alpha to follow him. That made him want to attack him. And at the end of the day, if you're going to be the guy that's attacking Turbo, you need to also be the guy that pushes your girl out the way and say, I got this. But that ain't your style. And that's just what it is. So let's get into some more questions, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Pipe CX asks, it's my birthday, homie. Can you shout me out? Hey, man, shout outs to Mr. Pipe CX. Shout outs to you, my good sir, man. Happy born day to you, man. I hope you have plenty more coming in the future, coach. And I hope you enjoy yourself. Stay safe out there tonight. If you're going out tonight, it is only Wednesday night. So you might not. You might be saving it for the weekend, or you may have celebrated it last weekend. But either way, I hope you enjoyed the challenge episode tonight. And I hope I did a great job of bringing you a great rant on your birthday, coach. That's all it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. Not many questions tonight. Okay. Thank you, Ghost. I appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, I guess Ghost would have posted some more if there were more. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're 50 minutes in. I'm going to leave y'all to your vices, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope I've left y'all with enough game. That way, when we go into the double elimination episode next week, we'll all be excited, coach. He said, correction, it's my birthday, homie. Wait, hold up. My name's Nick. Oh, okay. Shout outs to Nick Gures, unless it's Nick Jures. Okay. You know, Shout outs to you, my good sir. Jay Griff asked the question, who do you think will be the next few to go? If I had to predict, based off the confessional Georgia made, I think Cara is going to be the girl elimination. Because they went out of their way to show a 6-point star. They made Cara look like a devil, right? So they're trying to paint her as if she's the head of the snake. When in reality, they just got done mentioning a week ago Paulie was the head of the snake, or at least he was trying to be after getting the bananas. So I feel like this is production just trying to be anti-Paulie and Cara a bit, if I got to be honest with you. And they have to be anti-Cara and Paulie because, once again, Georgia is their franchise player. Okay, so when you have that understood, then the rest can follow pretty easily. All right. But ladies and gentlemen, one more question. No, okay, I got it. Okay, cool. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed yourself tonight. Once again, this has been the rant entitled Smoked Turkey, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all have enjoyed yourself. Once again, I am Dave Smith with Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. If you could, please like, share, and subscribe. And on the right side of my channel's page, click on that bell. That way you could be here with the most lit live chat in the challenge history. Bar none, coach. I'm out. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your night. And once again, happy birthday to my brother, Nick Gures, man. It's pretty dope that people show up to the rant on their birthday. I must say, man, that's some hardcore fan type stuff, man. I rock with you the hard way, bro. So y'all have a great night, and I'm out of here. Deuces.